Benjamin Kalu in Lagos. The Joint Committee considered 69 bills, 55 state creation requests, 2 boundary adjustments, and 278 local government creation requests during the retreat. During the consideration of the 55 requests for state creation, the Joint Committee unanimously resolved that 6 additional states should be created. If approved, the number of states will increase from 36 to 42. A state will therefore be created in each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the Northwest, Northeast, North Central, Southwest, South-South, and Southeast. In another development, the National Examination Council (NECO) has established a new examination center in London, United Kingdom, marking a major step in its global expansion drive and commitment to educational inclusivity for Nigerians in the diaspora. Unveiling the center during the Education Matters Conference UK 2025 in London, the Registrar and Chief Executive of NECO, Professor Dantani Ibrahim Wushishi, described the new Senior School Certificate Examination SSCE Center set up in partnership with Banfield Education Limited as a strategic move to extend access to credible Nigerian examinations beyond the country's borders. Professor Wushishi, in a statement issued by the Acting Director, Information and Public Relations, NECO, Aziz Sani, said the initiative aims to provide opportunities for Nigerian students and adult learners in the UK who, for various reasons, have been unable to complete secondary education or obtain equivalent qualifications. In a separate development, the chairman of Dantita Security Services Nigeria Limited, Government Ekpe Mbupolo, popularly known as Tompolo, has denied reports circulating on social media alleging that he gave the federal government a 21-day ultimatum to release the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. In a statement issued by his media consultant Paul Bebenibimbo, Tompolo described the publication as false and mischievous, insisting that he had no connection whatsoever with the issue of Nnamdi Kanu or any related matter. Reaffirming his loyalty to the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Tompolo, through his spokesperson, expressed full support for the president's renewed hope agenda and reiterated his endorsement of the president for a second term. The statement further urged the federal government and the general public to disregard the false report, emphasizing that it does not reflect Tompolo's position or any of his official communications. We move now to Africa, where Sani Otrawa looked likely to win a 4th term as Ivory Coast president on Sunday, with early results suggesting a landslide victory in a poll where 2 of the main hopefuls were barred from standing. Otrawa, aged 83, has led the well-stocked cocoa producer since 2011, when his country began reasserting itself as a West African economic powerhouse. Official reports from the poll showed that some of Otrawa's northern strongholds showed him winning the race. We'll take a quick break right now. When we return, News at 10 continues.
your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. AR Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Rescan your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further inquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying tuned. This is Spectrum News at 10. Still in Africa, hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Douala, Cameroon's economic capital, on Sunday, responding to a nationwide call from opposition figure Issa Chiroma Bakari. Demonstrators, mostly young people, marched to major thoroughfares demanding that authorities acknowledge Chiroma's victory in the recent election and disclose the true results of the vote, expected to be officially announced today. According to local reports, the demonstrations quickly spread across several neighborhoods of Douala, including the densely populated New Bell area. Tensions escalated when police and anti-riot gendarmes allegedly used live ammunition to disperse the crowd. Witnesses say 2 people were shot, while several others were rushed to nearby hospitals, with some in critical condition. As news of the clashes circulated, protests extended beyond Douala, with cities such as Garu, Maru, Mingaga, Kele, and Batwa joining in what many are calling a national movement for electoral truth. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim signed a trade agreement Sunday, boosting U.S. access to critical minerals as China tightens control on rare earth. Recall that Beijing this month announced sweeping restrictions on rare earth industry, prompting Trump to threaten 100% tariff on imports from China in retaliation. Trump is in Malaysian capital Kuala Lumpur at the Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN Summit, ahead of a meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Thursday. Under the new U.S.-Malaysia deal, Kuala Lumpur pledged to refrain from banning or imposing quotas on export to the U.S. of critical minerals, while Washington agreed the formalization of a 19% tariff on Malaysian goods. Malaysia also vowed to speed up development of its critical mineral sector in partnership with U.S. firms, including extending operating licenses to boost production capacity. Still on the foreign scene, 10 people went on trial in Paris today accused of sexist cyber harassment against French First Lady Brigitte Macron over false claims she was assigned male at birth. The case follows the defamation suit she and President Emmanuel Macron filed in the United States in July over the same rumor. The trial comes after she and President Emmanuel Macron filed a defamation lawsuit in the United States at the end of July in connection with the rumor amplified and repeated online that Brigitte Macron was assigned male at birth. The unsupported claim has long targeted the presidential couple alongside criticism of their 24-year age gap. The defendant, 8 men and 2 women aged 41 to 60, will be tried in Paris criminal court, accused of cyber harassment targeting Brigitte Macron. If convicted, they face up to 2 years in prison. Recall that the French First Lady filed a complaint in August 2024 that led to an investigation into cyber harassment and arrest in December 2024 and February 2025. On the business news, Dangote Refinery has announced that it is increasing its production from 650,000 barrels per day to 1.4 million barrels per day. When completed, the expansion will make the facility the largest refinery in the world, surpassing the Jamnagar refinery in India. Speaking at a press conference in Lagos on Sunday, the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, said the move reflects confidence in Nigeria's future and aligns with President Bola Tinubu's vision of making the country a global supplier of refined petroleum products. Dangote commended the federal government for its support and for implementing policies that have spurred industrial growth, including Nigeria's first policy, Naira for Crude policy, and one-stop shop initiative. He said these policies have revolutionized the downstream sector and encouraged private investment in local refining. Still in business, the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria, OPSN, has rejected the proposed amendment to the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund (NSITF) Act, describing the move by the Senate as dangerous attempt to hijack and politicize the management of workers' social protection funds. The OPSN comprises the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, the Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NISIMA, the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, the Nigeria Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, and the Nigerian Association of Small-Scale Industrialists, NASSI, ADS, by. It also warned that the amendment threatened transparency, accountability, and the very foundation of funds governance structure. In a letter to the Senate President signed by the Director General of the 5-member organizations, the OPSN urged the Senate to immediately hold the legislative process, which has already passed second reading, insisting that the proposed changes would undermine the NSITF's tripartite structure and violate international labor standards. In health, the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NERD) has announced plans to commence an indefinite nationwide strike starting November 1, 2025. NERD's President Mohammed Suleiman disclosed this in a statement on Sunday, saying the strike directive was issued after the expiration of a 30-day ultimatum earlier given to the federal government over unresolved demands. This latest action comes after a 5-hour meeting of the association's National Executive Council on Saturday. According to Suleiman, the decision followed the expiration of a 30-day ultimatum earlier issued to the federal government to address its demands. Still in health, the House of Representatives has invited critical stakeholders, including the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Federal Ministries of Health and Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, to submit memorandum ahead of its probe into the prevalence in the use, trafficking and regulation of illicit drugs across the country. Also invited for submission of inputs are Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Group of Man, PMG Man, major pharmaceutical companies, Nigerian Breweries PLC, Guinness Nigeria PLC, International Distillers Limited, and tobacco industry representatives. Others include law enforcement agencies including the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Nigeria Police Force, Nigeria Customs Service, Nigeria Immigration Service, Nigerian Correctional Service, Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Medical Association, the Association of Psychiatrists in Nigeria, National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, Nigerian Bar Association, Civil Society Network on Substantive Abuse, and National Youth Council of Nigeria are expected to make input. To sports news now, where Jude Bellingham's goal helped Real Madrid beat Barcelona 2-1 to win a tense Clásico and move 5 points clear of their bitter rivals at the top of La Liga on Sunday. Champions Barcelona won all 4 times the team were pitted against each other last season. But in his first Clásico as Real Madrid coach, Xabi Alonso snapped that run. Kylian Mbappe, who later missed a penalty, fired Madrid in front, and although Fermin Lopez leveled for the visitors at Santiago Bernabeu, Bellingham netted a second for the hosts before halftime, which proved decisive. Backup playmaker Pedri was sent off in final stages for a second yellow card as tensions spilled over in Spanish capital. Madrid's victory means they have won 9 of their opening 10 league games, and Alonso's side proved against Barca they can triumph on a big occasion following their debut humbling by Atletico Madrid in September. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.